Hello, Blend and Soul community. Welcome back to live streams. I'm Stefan Lopresti. I'm your content marketing strategist or community manager, as you usually call it, but I do more than community management. And you may know me as Greenstorm on the forums, and I'm really happy to bring back live streams with a familiar face. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Stefan. Yes, that's right. This is Brett, lead localization writer for Blade and Soul. I'm so excited to be back. I'm excited to be here in an actual studio as opposed to my home setup, which was what we did the last time we did a stream, which was over a year ago. So I'm actually in our new Orange County office, and Stefan is in our Bellevue, Washington office. And through the miracles of technology, we're both with you here today, and I'm super excited for this stream. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's really a great moment for us to bring back live streams. We have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, the new update, Symphony Destruction, coming next week on October 12th to Blade and Soul. But before we get there, Brett, I wanted to spend a few minutes trying to reminisce on the past year, because it's been 13 months since we released the Unreal Engine 4 updates. That was in September 8, 2021. 13 months. And since then, we've been releasing a lot of content, right? And I wanted to spend time going through that and remembering all the things we've seen together. In November last year, we released the Act 11, Part 2 of the Epic Quest, continuing the story, bringing it closer to kind of an ending. We introduced a big new update to dungeons with the Demon's Bane system, which is adds a ranking system to mythical dungeons, and we introduced the first of that series called the Aerodrome Dungeon. We also added insignias to the game in November, the Resonance system, and also upgraded the weapons to Shadow Fury Stage 7 to 9, added another tier to the Soul. Then came January 2022, and for the new year, we gave you Soul Boost, an entirely new system based on previous systems before, but something to allow people to have a smoother progression through the game by doing a series of quests and daily actions, and you get better stuff. We added Battle Pass system, and we are going to release Season 5 of the Battle Pass next week. We also added the third spec of the Soul Fighter, Way of the Living Hand. Substratum Demon's Bane Dungeon was added in January, and then we celebrated the 6th anniversary of Blade and Soul in the West. And I hope we all celebrated with this giant cake and all the gifts and presents we gave you. We added a bracelet, belt, and gloves of the Sky Stealer tier and the Allegiant Heart. Came February, we added the Sanctum of the Masters, this time solo dungeon, to the Demon's Bane system. And then in March, by the way, March was my first complete release on the product. I've been here for a bit more than 7 months. We gave you the third spec of the Gunslinger, the Way of the Arsenal. We added the Chaos Supply Chain Demon's Bane Dungeon. You may have enjoyed a show in Korea and saw the game Dropscotch Games in the game. That was a fun one, very, very special, celebrating something that is close to us. And we added the Class Change Voucher in February, something we're bringing back next week. In April, we gave you the producer letter. Our producers came back and sort of set the tone for 2022 in terms of content. And we also went back in Celestial Basin with a bit of a renewal of the events over there. Came May, there was an important milestone in the epic story of Blade and Soul with the Act 12 Interlude, a little bit of a book ending of that story, bringing a lot of the threads we've built over the years together and potentially prepare for something next. The Hall of Trials was released for Demon's Bane. We brought back KB Village, and we added a tier to the weapons called Upsurge with brand new systems called Succession and Evolution and the Enchantment bonuses. The Soul got also a Manifest tier. The Pet Aura got Uproar. We added Starcross tier to Ring and Earrings. In June, we started the yearly tradition of loading screen art contests, and I'm happy now to share the 5 winners. And also to say, you'll be seeing those screens next week with the Symphony of Destruction update. Brilliant creativity of our community never fails. We've had quite a lot of entries, and the community selected the 5 winners, and they're going to be in the game. In June, we also gave you the Namdo Shrine, Demon's Bane Dungeon, and gloves and necklace of the Starcross level. July brought the Warden's third spec, Way of the Inferno, and the Altar of the Infinite Demon's Bane Dungeon, and we started Soul Boost Season 2. So Soul Boost Season 1 kind of ended a little bit later, and we corrected that. And Soul Boost Season 2 built upon that, continuing to smooth out the progression in terms of gear and materials. August brought Shrouded Agenera, the solo dungeon, the Frozen Viper Cap Cavern, and we added rest rewards to the daily challenges. And then we come to September last month. There was a little bit of a light month for a reason we explained in the producer letter, and I want everybody here on the stream, if you haven't read it, to know that we're continuing to push the same amount of content in Blade and Soul, but we're changing the cadence of those releases. So in September, we had an event-packed release, but we didn't push any content. We're pushing it in October, and we're going to continue that cadence in the future, having a month that is fairly light on content, while the next month we'll have a lot more content. We want to give you time to enjoy that content. We bought some events in September, and we also started the Cosmetic design contest. It's another of those creativity challenges for the community where we're asking you to create, draw a musician outfit, a costume for the new class we're bringing next week. Check it out on the website. It's open until October 23rd. So in short, the past 13 months, I have brought 2 story arcs, 8 dungeons, 2 third specs, a new tier for the weapons and all accessories, and I can't even count the amount of events we put together. The focus all year long has really been to try to reconnect with the community, engage, gather feedback a lot. And we enacted that feedback. We changed a few systems. We changed the way we were handling some of the releases. For example, a highly requested topic was bring back the skill updates of the third spec when we release them, because every time we release a third spec, it's been released a few months before in Korea, so there's been skill updates, and we push them now together with the third spec. It will be the same with the musician class next week. We also updated the number of daily challenges from 9 to 13 to try to bring back people to older dungeons. We changed the content of Treasure Troves, Fortune's Favor, the Dragon Express, in particular the Premium tab in the Dragon Express. And we have a pile of other feedback we're working on, one of them being the Specials tab in the Hongmoon store. So expect some changes in the next few months. And please do continue to give us feedback. We listen, we hear, and we try to change systems in the future based on that feedback. That feedback has been heard, and we know that 2 of the top comments are relayed on social and on forums, and thank you for sharing that, has been the gold income. We're really actively working on improving things one step at a time. You'll see that next week. Look at the daily challenges and the weekly challenges. Look at the treasure trove. Look at all these systems and see how we're adding a little bit of something to each of them. Yes, next week, Brett, we're bringing something quite meaty, right?
That's right. Yeah, thank you so much for that summary. It has obviously been a jam-packed year. We've pushed out a lot of content, and as you mentioned, we continue to take feedback from the community and incorporate that into the game. September was a smaller update. October is a large update. It is our biggest update of the year. And primary in that, we are releasing a new class. The musician class is coming to Blade and Soul. We're going to dive into that in just a little bit. We are bringing mounts to Blade and Soul. Let's go. If you want to mount in this game, you got it. We are bringing a new dungeon, the next Demon's Bane dungeon. We are bringing a new faction PvP area called Ethereal Battlegrounds. We are bringing an updated treasure trove. So let me be the first, it's a little early, but let me be the first to wish all of you a very happy Trovemas. And in addition to that, we have a new tier for the ring, the earring, and your talisman accessories, as well as a ton of more content. We're not going to be able to go over every single thing in the live stream today, but there's a bunch that we're going to dive into, and I think this is going to be a great update.
Yeah, I agree. Like we've been building towards that update for a very long time. You're right, Brett. Like I remember joining the team, and we were already starting to think about it months before. Something also I want to bring attention to outside of the game. We created sweepstakes and contests for that update. You may have seen the design contest. There's another one that went live last week called the Become the Musician sweepstakes that asks you to upload a video to Twitter or on Instagram with 2 hashtags. Check out on the website the details of that sweepstakes. There's another sweepstake that I will not introduce right away. I will tell you more at the end of this live stream. That is going to get a lot of people excited. There's very impressive prizes, and the details are interesting for all Blade and Soul players, all of them, you see. But I'm bringing also some surprises today. today we're going to give you some stuff. We're going to give you some in-game items. We're going to start with Sky Stealer chests. So you're going to see at the top of the screen, somewhere here, right there. Yeah, here you go. You're going to see a code, and you can use the first 5,000 people will go to ncsoft.com, log into their accounts. So I'm going to give you a few seconds, and input that code in the specific section for inputting codes. We'll get 5 Sky Stealer crystal chests. I'm going to give you a few seconds for you to just read that information, see it. That's going to be the first of 3 giveaways today. Everybody is going to get that. Thank you, Mark, for putting that. But now we're going to go to the main meal, the main course, the performance of this show, Brett. Let's talk about the musician.
The musician class has come to Blade and Soul. So who is this class for? If you enjoy music, if you are a musician or just an avid listener of music, this might be the class for you. If your hobbies include playing the air guitar or maybe even a real guitar, this is the class for you. If you can name that tune in 3 notes or less, this is definitely the class for you. In general, this is a great class if you enjoy uplifting and supporting your allies and or destroying your enemies through the pure sound power of music. This is a class that uses a zither, which we're calling a harp, as an instrument. It's based on a traditional Korean zither. Takes a lot of elements from traditional Korean representations of nymphs and ethereal beings, which we'll jump into in a bit. This is our first female-only class, and it is available to the Jin, the Yoon, and the Lin races. So everyone except for the Gon can create this character, create this class.
Right. And Brett, I wanted to speak a word for a minute about the community has asked, why is it gender locked? Why is it female only? And the intention by the creative team in Korea when they designed the musician was really to bring together a certain aesthetic to the character, a certain theme and tune, a tune, literally. They put a tune in the game. And so when they... Mark, if you can show some of the concept art, they went through a lot of iterations. They considered all different options, right? They were saying, how is this going to play out? What kind of effects do we want to have? And it brought them to this idea of making it a female-only character, because there is this idea of beauty and music and vibe, and it worked really well with those characters. There is no other reason. It's purely, entirely based on the design of the class when it was initially conceived and thought.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that was very evident in the artwork we saw there, as well as in the intro video, talking about, you know, the sort of ethereal nature of music, nature being an inspiration for music as well. So it's sort of both the spiritual and natural dimensions of music. Music is elegance and grace, and that sort of like the sort of ribbon things we see behind the female characters there. That again is tied to like sort of traditional Korean depictions of divine or ethereal or otherworldly beings like nymphs and that sort of thing. So it's a very, very unique class. I have to say, from a writer point of view, being able to name things that were musical in nature is kind of a nice, refreshing change of pace. We have a lot of classes that use swords and axes and that sort of thing. And to be honest, there's only so many words in the English language for stab and slash and that sort of thing. So to be able to have something that's new and refreshing and jump into more of the musical terminology has been really fun. In addition to bringing this new class, there are, as there always are when we bring a new class to the game, there are new training quests available to you to help you, go through the tutorial or training after that. And I think we have a couple of audio clips that we can play for some of these quests that have been added.
Anticipate your opponent's attack, then use Sonic Shield to block it.
I gotta be honest, Cricket. Music isn't really my specialty, unless you count the sound my opponents make when I pummel them into the ground. But don't worry, we'll learn together.
I'm sorry, my dear, but you've missed my last performance of the day. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I can see the ravenous anticipation in your eyes.
Love it. When I was going through the initial quest and the training and looking at this, I really love how there is a feel to this class that brings something really fresh to the game. It is each class has an identity, each class has a direction, a theme, and you, Brett, and the rest of the team have brought that together with the naming of the skills and the kind of. And here you had special quests, right? That no other classes, introduction quests specific to the musician, correct?
That's right. So what you heard there, you obviously heard Young Muck, played by Orion Akaba, in the tutorial quest. You heard Brotherhood June. There's the Brotherhood June training quests are available to you if you want to go down that route or not. And then the final voice we heard was actually from a new quest, a class-specific quest. So this class actually has a specific quest that's available only to musicians, that kind of explores more of that sort of mythology of the power of music and that sort of thing. So if you are interested in that, create a musician character, and that quest is only available to musicians. So it's a special side quest that was only available to this class, which is yet another reason to create a character with this class and try it out.
We kind of ease you in to playing the musician, understanding where they come from, give you a little bit of a backstory, and then propulse you into the reason why people came today, right? We're going to be showing you the musician now, right? While we switch to the gameplay that Brett is gonna show us of the musician, I really want to emphasize something important. You're going to see gameplay on our test environments. So we have multiple of them, and we use them obviously to test the game and to try to make correct things. And so everything you see in the game now is not going to be the final. It may be changed. Some of the details are not finalized yet at this stage. The pipeline of development means that we start very early, and some of these things are broken, and you may see broken things here, or information that is not correct. The numbers may not be final. Always remember that. Let's go and take a look at the musician now. Here you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Stefan. Yeah, as you said, this is not final. Still work in progress, but we can give you a very good idea of what this class is all about. This class comes with 2 specializations, as all classes do right out the gate. So we have the Way of the Divine, which I'm showing now, and we have the Way of Harmony is the second spec. So this is a ranged class. It does a lot of support things. It does a lot of damage things. The Way of Divine, I would say, is more focused on damage than support. So you have your very basic left mouse button skill, which opens up this F skill, which gives you a little triplet. You have a sonic shield, lots of shields on this character. You can actually have multiple shields going at once. So you have your sonic shield, you have an HP shield with your V skill, you have your X skill, which gives you some iframes. So a lot of ways to defend yourself, to heal yourself, to protect yourself. In addition, so one of the big things with this class is the tab skill, this Muse skill, which if I use here, I don't know why it's not working.
Okay. Yeah, that's like we live, people. This is not recorded at all. If it's not working for you, let me check. I can show my gameplay. Go ahead, Brett. I'll show them.
Yeah. So the tab skill gives you those sort of ethereal ribbons behind your character that you see there. So you're actually amplifies the sound, makes your attacks more destructive, more powerful. And as you can see on that gauge there, it also gives you these soul strings, which are shown by that gauge above your skills there. Mm-hmm. And the soul strings let you use the 4 skill when you come out of the Muse stance.
The stance. Yep. Which I missed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
In addition, your Q skill, if you press your Q now, actually puts you into a different stance, and you actually slam your instrument, your harp, into the ground, and then you have a new skill, the F skill, available to you as well. So lots of dynamicism with this specialization, with this class, and lots of things you can do. Looks like my client was just disconnected, so I must have had some sort of connection issue there. I will get back into it. Sorry for the issues, and thanks for stepping in, Stefan.
Absolutely.
While I sort this out.
These are the troubles we sometimes deal with in a live stream, where we prepare. We've been rehearsing this. We've been going on these clients. We haven't had that issue, but Brett is going to try to come back. So I'm going to show you a little bit of we've got 2 as a stand skill right now, not available because I don't have a dummy, 2 pounds. But just imagine that number 2 skill would just like be composing music. That way of the divine spec is very much geared towards damage and crowd control, CC. So you won't be able to see some of that here, but 3 and 4 will allow you that and will be influenced by tab. And then we've got the X to try to like buff and debuff based on the different circumstances, what you need. Listen, when you'll be playing, try to listen as much as possible. Some of the tunes you hear of the skills, it's really, really cool how you're able to hear what you're doing a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised that at some point you start playing like that without any UI whatsoever. But
Absolutely.
I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go slowly. We've got our movement skills. The musician has the average mobility of all the class. We didn't focus on that. But what's interesting with the first spec is that it's not support. It's dealt toward solo. You can deal damage, resist damage. There's a few combos. There's really interesting. Is there one you wanted to show today, Brett?
Let me see if it's working now. Yes.
Nice.
I think so. Yes. Okay. So yeah. Sorry about that. So this V skill, it's not working.
Yeah, I can see some delays. I think the server.
Okay. Well, I'm clearly having some delays like that, so apologies for that.
Let's go to my gameplay then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go to the Hongmoon training room to have a dummy, because it's a lot more interesting when we show you enemies, and the most feared enemy in Blade and Soul, as everybody knows, is the training dummy.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, as Stefan mentioned, there are some skills that make particular sounds. There's a lot of self heals, self buffs. You can generate shields based on your HP. While you generate the shield, you can give yourself an HP buff. So a lot of durability. Average movement. The E skill you can actually use twice in a row, so that gives you a little bit of dynamism with your movement. But this class is not so much about combos, not so much about movement as it is durability, damage, resource management, cooldown management, and obviously sounding amazing while you're doing whatever it is you're doing.
Right, there is probably going to be a lot of experiment from players and to try to see whether DPS is good, whether the crowd control is interesting enough for some bosses and whatnot. A few people asked initially when we released the name of the musician, right? Like, was it not a bard? Everybody assumed like the bard has a certain archetype to it in MMORPGs, and we tend to like very heavily focus it on support. The musician though has that mix. Something I wanted to show is right the martial tome, how you can specialize some of these things. Do you want to talk about that, Brett?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's great about this class, as you can see, there's lots of options in the talents in terms of how you want to fine tune, if you will, if you'll forgive the pun, you're a musician in terms of if you want to focus more on sustained, on control, on damage, that sort of thing. And so with this class, with both specializations really, you can kind of see both how you like to play and fine tune it to your preferences there. And if you're part of a party, if you see where there's certain things you need or don't need in a party, you can obviously choose the talents and focuses that will allow you to do whatever's needed. Right. So a lot of versatility with this class and a lot of different ways that you can make it custom to whatever it is you want to be doing.
Right. When I was playing and just experimenting a little bit, I noticed how you can really tune some aspects of your class up and down, right? The healing, the damage, the control, just by, as is usual with every class, all players are going to be exploring those and just picking up not only what makes the most sense for them, but in general what is the most appropriate for given content. So for example, right, you have the Shroud of Yogdun or the Sharp Shroud or the Shroud of Healing that's going to allow you to change. Like there's a lot of changes in what you can do here. The tab skill can be transformed to sort of allow you to go more damage or more healing or more control. Some skills, like they don't get a buff in the levels, but they get new functionality as usual. So we really want you to explore, because there may be some surprises here that we're not showing you today. This is not meant today as a complete overview of the class. We're just giving you the broad strokes. All the basic tunes, I would say.
All the hits, that's right. And as we said earlier, the text you're seeing is not necessarily final, so
Yeah.
Bear with us with that as well. But yeah, lots of versatility to this class. Lots of damage dealing, lots of shields, ultimate skills, new ultimate skills, and we could show the second spec if you want to transition. To
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into the Way of the Harmony. Really brilliantly, a very appropriate name for it.
That's right. E skill. In addition, this one has kind of a cool function. Your left mouse button skill, it's not an instant. It has a slight cooldown. But if you press the 4 skill, it actually lets you use your left mouse button skill instantly, and which is kind of neat and very appropriate. You know, in music we not only have notes, but we obviously have tempo and rhythm. So that 4 skill lets you accelerate how quickly you're playing the notes, essentially, how quickly you can use that left mouse button skill. The specialization also has a very cool tab skill. Both the specializations have a tab skill that kind of switches your mode a bit. So this one actually switches you to a new stance where you're actually almost sitting on an invisible chair here. I love this. Nothing more chill than actually sitting down and performing music in the middle of combat. I feel like at this point you're just totally clowning your opponents. So this specialization has some very powerful AoE support skills, which you mainly do with your Z, and there are different ways to change that with the X, C, and V skill. So this long casting time, 5 seconds, and then you see this big area of effect, which depending on which of these prelude skills, the X, C, and V skills you use prior, gives specific buffs to your allies, and even if you just use the general Z skill, it provides this huge benefits to your entire party. But as you saw there, it's a little bit of a bummer because it has a 5-second cast time, which is a little long. But once again, if you press the 4 skill while you're in this mode, it'll allow you to use that skill in half the time. So it'll only be a 2.5-second cast time, and you'll still get that huge area effect, those huge bonuses for your entire party. And again, because the X, the C, and the V are different, if you want to focus on dealing damage, you can choose the V, which is the wintry one. If you want to focus more on HP and sustain, you can use the X one, which is more of a spring themed. So this Way of Harmony is all about helping out your allies. It kind of has this natural pastoral theme, and again, very musical in the way that the skills interact with each other, allowing you to speed up certain skills, prep certain skills, and that sort of thing.
Right.
So really neat design.
So it's going to be interesting. Like we're bringing support to Blade and Soul in a very big way with the musician. You'll be able suddenly to boost the DPS or the crowd control abilities, or heal your party. Yes, heal your party. And again, like we're gonna have to see how it plays out, how players use that in terms of how much support are they gonna bring to the game. I have no idea. Like we haven't played 4 people dungeon, but it'd be interesting to see how many musicians a party wants in terms of support for healing, control, DPS. How can you bring those numbers up and also allow you more survivability? It's really interesting how there's a lot of choices to make when you play musician. And I found the path when I was playing with it, I found the exploration of all these possibilities quite interesting.
Absolutely. And so it gives you the option, if you want to be the lone musician in your group, you can be that. You can kind of play something almost akin to that bard role. Or it begs the question, do you want to do an entire party of musicians? You could be a band, you know. I don't know what you would want to call yourself, the Heartstrings or something. The Dungeon Crashers. But yeah, so lots of different ways. I'm excited to see how the community dives into this class, what they kind of sort out in terms of optimization, in
Right.
terms of different roles that this class can take. I think it has a lot to offer. In addition to being unique and sounding very cool, it has a lot to offer in terms of unique gameplay as well.
Yeah,
in terms of
and it's got
lots of
something
versatility.
really interesting. Oh, I've got another good name for you for a musician band. What about Harp Heroes? Harp Heroes.
There you go.
I think it's really, really interesting. I want to see a full party of musicians to try to see whether people are able to like really use these interactions and synergies between the skills. But there's something else we're bringing right to the musician. Right? Do you want to say a word?
That's
about-
right. Yeah, that's right. So you might be looking at this and saying, well, it's definitely using a harp as a weapon, and it definitely has some musical elements to it, but it's not that musical. So if you're feeling that way, there is another thing you can do with this class when you're not in combat,
How do
which
you do
is
that?
very unique. Which is the only
Yeah.
class you can do it.
Do you want me to
It
show?
gets,
So, right, you
that
use
would be
your
great, yeah.
your echo skill. You use your number one skill. Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I missed it because I was in the stance for. So I need to tab out of that stance where you create support. Then you use your number one skill on both, and you tab. And look at the bottom. All your skills are now notes. You literally
That's right.
playing music. You can go up one
Yeah.
octave. We're giving you 24 notes to play with a musician. That's the kind of music to our ears, and we want to hear them out. We released during the past week an interactive video of the musician on YouTube. You can go check it out. It's not as good. It only gives you 10 notes with the musicians, but you can play on YouTube. You don't need the game. I saw a couple of press outlets that saw our teaser a few weeks ago, and correctly thought, oh, they're introducing a music system. And I think we want, with this class, to give you a little bit more than just DPS and support. And that was part of the initial design idea of the Korean team at NCSoft designing the musician, right? This idea of giving you the full music experience.
Yeah, I think that offers so much to this class, and I'm excited to see what players do. You know, set up shop at a random location or inside a town where there's lots of people.
Right.
You can put on a hipster outfit. You can put on a geisha outfit. You can do whatever sort of vibe you're feeling, and just play music. I'm excited to see players posting videos of their characters playing music, or them playing music like their characters. And as Stefan mentioned, if you want to get a little preview of that, you can go right now to the video on YouTube, and you can kind of see what it feels like. But it's obviously, like you said, it's not as good as the actual in-game experience. So
No.
Definitely check that out.
It's pretty. I want to see people do concerts in game and attend concerts and just have a good time with that musician class. Hopefully, after beating a dungeon, you can just like chill out and enjoy your colleagues, your friends, your teammates, your party members. That's it for the musician preview today. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Brad?
No, again, I appreciate you showing the skills here. I apologize that I wasn't able to do it on my build. But as you can see, yeah, there's a lot of versatility in this class, and a very cool theme. It looks very cool, and just as importantly, it sounds very cool, which I think is very appropriate. So yeah, check it out, dive in, tell each other what you've learned, and share with the community. You know, let's see what this class can do.
Exactly, and it's coming in literally 8 days. Wednesday next week. Symphony of Destruction is going to be our October release, and it's packed. Like Brett said before we introduce the musician, we have a lot of content for you, and we're not going to show it all. We want you to like have some surprises in game. We will be showing you more details over the coming week. Check out our social media where we announce and show you in blog post details of this update, and we'll dive deeper into some of this feature. But today I wanted to show you something that we've already announced that is really cool. We are adding mounts to the game, and this is what it looks like. I'm in Genera Monastery, and I'm bringing my new companion. I have a horse. And
You have a horse.
I'm riding a horse in Blade and Soul. That's what I'm doing. A few people have been asking, like, how do you get them? We haven't set up one method for them. We're going to start in October by putting 2 mounts in the treasure trove. They're going to be available in the treasure trove for you to purchase. Yes, that treasure trove. The mounts in the game are meant purely for you as an experience enhancer, as a way to go faster. As you can see, I've got I've got infinite wind walking bar at the bottom. I can go as fast as 150% movement boost with that, so it's pretty fast. You cannot use your mount in all the zones. When you go to dungeons, for example, I think pretty much all of them are disabled. All the open areas, most of the outposts, some zones may not be entirely accessible, so there are constraints. Something interesting is it's not wind walking, it's really a land base, so you can't go up the walls, right? I'm sure people are going to try though.
Yeah, you can trot over the water. I have been able to do that. So if you're going over water and you're dashing, you can trot over the water.
Interesting.
You can jump, but yeah, you can't. And as you might be able to tell from the preview here, but the steering is a little different. It's not as precise. You kind of have to. That took some getting used to for me. I was running into rocks and things.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it, it is super fun.
No combat,
walk,
right?
Very fast.
No combat either. You cannot use the mount in combat. You're going to be sent off your mount if you start being attacked or attacking anybody. You can interact with NPCs in general. What else? I mean, generally speaking, the mount is a second companion for you. That's the way I was basically presenting it. Then with the entrance, right? I can't go into this one. I wanted to show. Oh, by the way, really cool. You get a new map. I don't know, like this is the kind of little things that are going to make the October update a little bit like interesting. Is we have a new UI for the map. Not as interesting as an entirely new class, but yet something. I'm going to show you what the map looks like in the open space. It's got also the same abilities as movement abilities as you have, Q, E, and SS. But it doesn't, that particular mount, the horse, doesn't glide. It can go down as if you were falling down off a cliff, but you cannot glide. This is not a Pegasus, this is a horse.
That's right. Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head. You know, we've had pets in Blade and Soul for a long time, and this basically gives you the opportunity to have a second pet. It just so happens it's a large pet that you can ride on. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it'll be fun to see someone playing music with their musician character, and then suddenly a stream of horses trot by, and it'll just be this crazy cacophony of sound and visuals going on, which I think is going to be fantastic.
Right. Expect more mounts to be released in the future. We don't have details yet. We don't know how many we're going to release, when we release them. We'll be checking for your feedback too. Let us know what you think. Yeah, I can't mount again here. You cannot trade it. You cannot set it. It's going to be bound to your character, I think. And that's it for mounts. This is really here, as I said, to enhance your experience. You go faster, obviously. This is a movement boost for you, but also a very different experience of the game. And we hope you enjoy it. But
Stefan,
next,
do you know if the horse can die? Do you know if that's a thing, or is it just a
I
cosmetic?
didn't try that. That's a good point. I think
I haven't tried that either.
You'd be knocked off your mount if that happens, because if you
That
die,
makes sense.
you're just being attacked. So there's no mount. There's no mount combat abilities. It doesn't provide you with a boost in stats and stuff like that. The horse doesn't. So I think it's purely meant as an additional cosmetic element. In fact, it is in the cosmetic tab, right next to your costumes.
Yeah, in your
right now.
inventory.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense.
So, but
Thanks.
we wanted to show you something else. Do you want to talk about the next while I teleport to that place?
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of dungeons this past year. We've had this new Demon's Bane dungeon mechanic. And so with the October update, we have the Grim Nexus dungeon, which is the next stage of the Demon's Bane side story and phenomenon. So we've seen this chaos energy making its way into different parts of the realm, even in the previous updates, infecting your friend Tajin, turning him into this crazed werewolf person. So in this update, they're up to especially not good things. So that is the mystery that you will unravel as you go to the Grim Nexus, along with Yahara's assistant who accompanies you, and you will arrive at this large forest and dive into the depths of a tree where the Grimhorn are
What are
underneath.
they doing? What are they doing?
Performing some incantations and other sketchy things. So you are there to investigate the sketchiness and, of course, stop it.
Right.
So,
I wanted to show before we jump into it some of the concept art of the dungeon. If you can switch to them, Mark. No, that's not the one. That's the one.
Yeah. So these are.
Thank you.
Some of the bosses and some of the
Grimhorns.
Go ahead,
So
I'm sorry.
some of the Grimhorns are up to something. You don't know what yet. I wanted to say, like, in reaction to what you said, Brett, that there is a kind of like a story arc, an independent story arc with the Demon's Bane dungeons we've been releasing through 2022 that is pretty cool to follow. They're not like explicitly tied to each other, but the end of Act 12 sort of jumps you to one of those dungeons, and you then follow what's going on with the chaos energy. And each of them add a little bit element, context to what's going on without really telling you. We don't know what's going on, but it seems that something is happening with the Grimhounds, definitely. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. So the Demon's Bane dungeons. I mean, it's ever since this chaos energy was released, it's kind of doing a couple of things. It's bringing in something new, and it's kind of twisting and messing with things we've already seen. This Demon's Bane dungeon, in addition to the other Demon's Bane dungeons, will have different levels of difficulty. So as you rise in level, there will be different mechanics that are unlocked, that sort of thing. So it really helps it not be stale in terms of replay. Once you've passed through the dungeon, once you've beat the sub boss and the main boss, you can do it again at different levels, and there's new challenges, new mechanics that are unlocked, which gives it a lot of versatility, which is a very cool thing about the Demon's Bane.
That's right. Let's dive into the Grim Nexus. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to show you the preliminary story. This is the cross-server version of it. I can also look at the idle animations of the musicians. Are pretty cool. Reminder that I'm using a test build. I have test equipment. None of this is available to the players on live, so it will not make sense. I have very high gear because that's how we test some of these builds. And you can notice, we had the entrance of this giant tree, and the Grimhorn are in it. There's a tribe that is up to something.
Yeah, and you can see the chaos energy right there from the get-go. So we've seen the Grimhorn before, but as Stefan said, this is a twisted version of the Grimhorn. This is the Grimhorn under the influence of this chaos energy, doing things we would more likely associate with the Ebon Drake. Doing rituals, having weird, crazy incantations, this sort of thing. And this is a great place to showcase the first spec of the musician class.
Right. Yeah, I switched back because obviously I'm by myself. We rehearsed together, and I was able to do some support. But today, which is a good illustration of how you can use a musician for different setting. I didn't specialize in any of my traits, so I'm using the default ones, and I'm gonna just try to go through the first area as quickly as possible. You can see that the Grimhorns are wearing some kind of tribal masks and costumes. There's a hint that they are actively doing something. Lady Yuhara didn't know exactly what was going on with them. And you're here to try to help. Yeah, I'm not doing good right now, but that's okay.
Yeah, and as you saw from our intro video, the final boss has this weird mechanic with masks and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So we're excited to see players dive into that, figure out the back and forth, figure out the rotations, and work together to find the optimal ways to take him down and defeat this dungeon, defeat that boss.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult in stage 1 when you start than it is for me right now. Again, I'm coming with gear that sort of doesn't follow the normal progression. You beat the first zone, and while you were able to see some of the musician gameplay, you notice what is going on? They're definitely up to something. What are these eggs?
Yeah, I mean, this would almost be beautiful if it wasn't so creepy. These pulsating, glowing egg sac things. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you progress here, you'll get deeper into the dungeon, have more mobs to clear, and then more movement skills required to get to the next portion. So just because you have mounts doesn't mean wind walking is an essential part of the game. You're still going to be running up walls. You're still going to be wind walking.
Yeah.
And you're still going to be doing combat as Stefan is showing us here.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you can't use a mount now, but in open area I'm pretty sure you're going to be excited to ride faster to your destination, but also with your trusty companion, right? Another trusting companion, I guess. I hope there's no competition between them. You love them as much. Your pet is not going to
That's right.
react to you having him out,
Yeah.
hopefully. So yeah, there is some dialogues. I'm not sure. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. If you actually progress and see some of the details, you discover, yeah, they're clearly up to something. There's some kind of ritual going on. Ritual for what? I'm not telling you.
That's right. It is an ongoing mystery, and the mystery will need to be unraveled. So we're not going to show you the entire dungeon.
That
We'll
one's
maybe take you to the first boss or so. But yeah, as with all dungeons, it will have the benefits of new items, new rewards, and as you progress, as you defeat it on more levels of difficulty, those rewards will obviously increase. And yeah, as we mentioned, great place to either bring a band or experiment with a new musician class, or with your main, if your main is a different class.
Yeah.
That's obviously fine as well. That's all about dynamic content and exploring it however you want.
So you.
And this is the
This is the
next stage
right-
of the story, and we'll see what goes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was
So
that?
you end up clearing the path through the first zone towards. Look at that. We are going over. So I've just. The trees have been doing something. Yeah, clearly the Grimhorns are invoking something, trying to like use dark magic to do something you're not sure about. So you're going to be meeting a guardian. The setup, that's the one. Right there. That's going to be your first boss of the day, if I can end up at it. Gum. Gum is going to be the protector. And again, I'm going to go much faster than you'll be going when you start it, probably, depending on the level of your gear. So this is not meant, and by going faster, I'm also going to skip some of its game mechanics. Yeah, but I should focus on my gameplay.
Yeah, you can see kind of some of the sort of ethereal, almost ribbon-like effects that are tied to this first spec, which is very cool. But yeah, obviously, the mechanics of these bosses is something you'll have to figure out along with your party as you dive into this dungeon and into the bosses. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. And
Yeah.
if nothing else, it's a great place to
Just going to kill it. Okay,
showcase
let's be
the
done.
musician.
And letting you enjoy the beautiful Grimhorn Guardian. Pretty buffed. And he's not alone, but he shall not last too long. I'm going to stop here for the
Hey,
dungeon.
we did it.
Yeah, we did it. This is going to be...
Thank you for that, Stefan. It's great.
Of course. Another great Demon's Bane dungeon coming to the system. Check it out when it releases next week in Symphony of Destruction on October 12. We've got more content, but before we head there, I forgot before, Mark, to do the second giveaway. We wanted to give you, now, for the second giveaway, let me check my notes, the honing oils. You can get 100 honing oils if you enter the Play the Musician redemption code, that's here, sorry, Play the Musician redemption code in your ncsoft.com account after you log in, only available for the first 2,500 people. That's our present for you ahead of that release. Enjoy. We hope it helps you. Thank you for being back and staying with us. But I wanted to spend a few minutes to talk about content I won't be showing today. As I said, we have more, and I'll talk about some today, but we're going to be presenting some in blog posts in the coming week, and then we have a few surprises for you on the day of release. Something we're bringing that people have been asking us for a while is some kind of PvP content. We've been hearing and trying to find something that would be interesting, and we decided to bring back the Ethereal, well, not bring back, for the first time on the Western servers, the Ethereal Battlegrounds are going to be available to players. This is a factions PvP zone, so you'll have to equip your factions costume to go in there and explore a zone. I won't tell you more. I'm just going to say that be careful. When you enter there, this is very dangerous. You have other players and other monsters and other interesting areas to explore. Maybe some bosses, who knows. Another really cool stuff that people love a lot is Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove is back. We've made a few changes over the course of the last two Treasure Troves, and we're continuing those changes next week. We will update a little bit of the outdated items, tweak them based on what we're releasing now, because it seems like players are enjoying the treasure trove a little bit more now. Mark, if you can show that. I'm gonna do my trove right now on the gameplay. Here you go. What do I get? We will release Sky Stealer crystals and Soulstone crystals. We will release more details. Yeah, it's okay. It's a good start. It's just a 1 crit.
Yes.
Battle Pass also comes back for Season 5 with also very similar improvements. We're trying to really get those items closer to the progression curve of where most players are. So we've removed some parts of those outdated ingredients. I also want to mention that at the same time, we're making it easier for players to sort of use their old materials. Go and check out the Dragon Express, in particular the premium tab. We've made a lot of old crystals can be transformed into solar energy, so that you can then use that energy to get newer crystals, or including also some accessories available over there. We're excited for the people who haven't seen it to check it out. We will have new costumes and a new pet. Mark, can you show the concept art for that? I have concept art of those costumes. There's a really nice kind of lifestyle costume, and then there's going to be a very nice kind of like noble outfit, a new pet. We're gonna probably give you a monocle and some gorgeous weapons that are going to come to the game for all the professions.
I actually have one of the costumes on my character in game. If we want to show that real quick, I have the homespun, which is that sort of nice. Hipstery, very appropriate for the musician. But yeah, this is the homespun costume, which I think is very cool.
I didn't dress today, but we can see what's interesting is we can see your harp is right on +20, I think, upsurge, right? And you can see the effects.
That's right.
Can you turn around and show some of the effects? Like these harps, when they level up, they look gorgeous. And then you can switch to mine, where you see mine is okay, I guess, but clearly not as shiny and impressive as yours. It's burning, but yours is on fire.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with the harp instrument going forward in terms of cosmetics, because I think it just gives you so much room to play with, which will be fun. It
does, right. And before I forget, very important, the Become the Musician contest, Sweepstakes I mentioned before. The top prize is the winner will win a zither, an actual zither instrument. The one from the musician will be delivered to them. We wanted that's a very rare instrument. I don't know, you probably need some special skills to be able to play it. It doesn't play like a guitar, I imagine.
That's very cool. I wonder how big of a box that zither instrument comes in upon arrival. That's going to be very cool.
Good question.
I'm always excited to see the creativity of our community, so I'm really looking forward to this contest, as with the Cosmetic contest. I'm always excited to see the creativity of our community and the ways they dive into it and really go all out. So thank you to everyone that participates in our Cosmetic contests, and check out this Be the Musician contest. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah, it is. It's really about creativity, all about it. The next one we're going to be announcing later this week that has pretty big prizes. And the only thing I'm going to say about it is that to enter, you have to play the game. That's going to be your entry method. You're going to have. I'll give you more details. Don't worry. You'll know about it before the release of Symphony of Destruction on October 12th. We pretty much at the end of this show, I'm checking my stream over there to see if there are questions that we can answer. That's just a few questions, and I can say a word about them. By the way, I have an announcement, and to give you more context, we announced last week that the Wind Walking Race event would be part of the October release. Unfortunately, due to technical issues, we won't be able to release it next week. So the Wind Walking Race event is a very cool event that was available to Korean players in August for the celebration of the 10th anniversary of Blade and Soul. And they wanted to bring it, but unfortunately there's a few technical issues with it. So we're going to postpone it. You will play the Wind Walking Race, just not in October. We're going to issue a correction about that. We're sorry about announcing it last week. People are asking, will I be able to play the musician on a male character? No, the musician is only available to female characters of the 3 races we mentioned, not the guns. A lot of people ask us to bring back Blade and Soul to GeForce Now network, and I've said in the past that we're currently not working on bringing Blade and Soul to that platform. Sorry, Brett, did you mention something? Did you want to mention something?
I think there might have been a couple questions about Greenstorm. Is that your handle, Stefan?
That is my name on the forums. I am the Greenstorm.
That's what. Just wanted to make sure that was the case.
Yes, my name is Stefan. I'm a content marketing strategist. It means I do community management. I talk to you on forums. I also on social. I manage blogs. I create live streams like this and other things you don't see. This is my opportunity, by the way, to thank the team. Brett as lead writer on Blade and Soul, and all the team that is pushing Blade and Soul in the West, the production team, the QA team, the log team, the platform teams, all the other teams that help us, analytics, customer service, hi to all of them, listening to the players when you send them tickets and trying to help everybody on the back end. There's a team of people behind me. I'm only here representing that team and this update. People asking, is there any incentive for players to come back to the game? Depends on when you last played the game. I've heard, for example, a lot of feedback how Soul Boost is a great help to players. Right, if you're coming back to the game and you haven't played in a year, play the story, finish the epic story, get all your quests in, look at the equipment loots, and do your Soul Boosts, look at the Soul Boost window, and any other event we have running through that period. We had Fortune's Favor in September. We have Treasure Trove coming next month. Look at those. That's how you're going to get together. We have a lot of content we've pushed, again, depending on when you last played the game. A lot of updates that have been pushing things to higher level, but also introducing system to help you get there. Are mounts obtained in-game or trove shop or real money? I just told you that the first ones are going to be in the treasure trove. That may not be the only method we're going to be releasing mounts. Can you come off it and walk around your mount? No, the mount is only on your mount or off your mount, plus the animation of the mount. Some people have asked, and I wanted to clarify, the class change voucher is coming back next week with the release of the musician. This is something we introduced in February and we didn't bring for the third specs since, but we will in the future release it more. You'll have detail in the blog post. The class change voucher, for people who haven't seen it, is a way for you to take any of your main characters on an alt and just move them entirely to a different class. Take your equipment, all the progress you've had will be moved to, and whenever possible, when there's an equivalent skin, the skins are also can be transferred. There will be, in fact, a bundle where you'll be able to change potentially some of your skins with this update. Check out our blog post. We'll have more information about that. And that's all I had today. We're going to the end, right? Oh, no, that's not all I had. Mark, thank you for the reminder. I have 3 pet packs for you. Do you want 3 pet packs?
3
then
pet packs.
For 1,000 people, 3 pet packs. Come on, that's a great way to finish. Help your pet level up. Use the code drop those bits over there. Man, it's so hard to directionally. On the ncsoft.com website, the first 1,000, yes, thank you, Brett. The first 1,000 people to redeem that code will get 3 pet packs. That's our thank you to the world community for being here, watching this preview of the Symphony of Destruction update coming next week on October 12 and bringing you a new class, a new dungeon, events, new accessories, the mount, and more. There's more coming. Did you want to say something to the community to close, Brett?
I wanted to again thank you to everyone that helped put this stream together, especially our IT team and our creative team. And we also obviously want to give a huge thanks to the community. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to everyone who's playing. We do this for you guys. And as Stefan mentioned, please continue to give us your feedback. Let us know what you're liking. Let us know ways that the game can be improved. Let us know what challenges you're encountering and what you're enjoying. And we'll continue to do our best to give you the best game possible and the best content possible. So thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to be back again.
Thank you for being here, Brett. Thank you for helping me. Like you said, thank you to all the supporting teams in the background. Thank you at the top to the community, the Blade and Soul community. I've been listening to you. I've been talking to some of you over the past 7 months, and I honestly can't wait for you to experience the Symphony of Destruction next week. Go to play it, got to be a musician, got to play the new dungeon. Tell us what you think. Share your feedback, whether you're new or an active player right now. Tell us how we can make the game better for you. It takes us time, but sometimes we change the systems for the betterment. Like I said, we're listening and we want to hear more of your thoughts. Thank you so much for attending this Blade & Soul live stream today. I hope we'll bring more to you in the future, and I hope you will enjoy next week's release, Symphony of Destruction, on October 12. Let's end with a trailer. Thank you, everybody.